Container nodes in Godot gives us out-of-the-box functionalities that helps us determine how things should be arranged. We have three types of nodes in Godot. The blue ones, which have to do with 2D gameplay, the red ones which have to do with the 3D environment of your game, and we have the green nodes, which are control nodes used to create UI for your games. The container nodes can take control of said control nodes and also rearrange them. Not only buttons, labels, textures, but they also can rearrange and take control of other containers. This whole scene right here was created using only three types of containers: the horizontal and vertical box containers, as well as margin containers. Before we dive into this scene, we're first going to take a look at this demo right here. As you can see, the root node of our scene is a vertical box container. A vertical box container works pretty much like a list. It's going to order the children on the same order that it has them on the inspector. So as you can see here in the scene tree, we have two direct children of this vertical box container, which are two horizontal box containers. The horizontal box containers work as the opposite of the vertical box container, so they're going to arrange their children in a horizontal manner. You can see that we have 4 buttons, and again, this is just for demo purposes. So if I decide to add another horizontal box container here, so I'm going to select this one and press Ctrl D to duplicate it. You'll notice that everything gets rearranged by our vertical box container. And the same is going to happen if I decide to duplicate one of the buttons right here. Everything gets rearranged accordingly. And again, if I decide to hide this button, they get rearranged again. These two containers are the main ones that you're going to use throughout your game. With them, you can create pretty much any type of UI. And it's a really good practice in Godot 3 to use them instead of using the default container. All containers have a signal that is emitted when the container has to rearrange its children. As you can see here, by selecting this horizontal box, it has the sort children signal, and you can use this to implement your own custom container by creating a script that inherits from the container. But we are not going to do this in this tutorial. Here we have a different type of container, which is a margin container. The margin container keeps all of its children inside a given margin that can be configured in the inspector. Going down to the inspector and open up the custom constants, you see that we have them pre-configured to be 75 on each side of this margin container. We can change this value, and you notice that everything inside is going to be rearranged accordingly. So if I increase this value to 120, for instance, you notice that the panel container gets shifted to the left because we are adding more margin to the right. You don't have to use all of these constants. You can use only the ones that you want. So if we deactivate some of them, everything gets rearranged accordingly, again because we're using a margin container. As a direct child of this margin container, we have a panel container. A panel container is a simple container that just have a background on it, and this background is going to have the same look as set it on the theme. So if you want to change the look of the default container, you can go to the theme and create a new one, and there you'll be able to change the look of this panel container. And as a child of it, we have a dummy text, which is just there to showcase how everything works when we change the values at the margin container. Here on the game scene, we have a GUI scene, and here we have the most complex scene of our game. You'll notice that all of this scene is pretty much made by horizontal and vertical box containers, as well as some margin containers. The root node is a horizontal box container that has the same size of the screen and is anchored as a full rect. You can see this by pressing H on your keyboard, and you'll be able to see these green dots to visualize where your control is anchored to. We will start off by taking a look at this panel, which is a margin container that has 20 of margin on each side of it. This way we don't have the 9-patch rect touching the edges of our screen. We then have a margin container, which is used to keep the contents of it not touching the border of the background that we are using for this stats panel. And again, we are using a VBox container to keep everything arranged as a list. And this is really useful because here you can see that we have a demo of a character select. But if we had a character that didn't have an attack property or had another type of property, if we decide to remove the attack, for instance, you notice that the defense goes all the way to the top. Again, it gets rearranged by the vertical box container, and we don't have to do anything and we don't have to worry about it. So if we wanted to add more types of stats to our character or remove some because the character is a mage, so it doesn't have an attack, it has a skill stats, we wouldn't have to worry about arranging everything and making everything look pretty because the VBox container is already taking care of that for us. If I open the defense scene, you notice that it is an inherit scene and it inherits from the attack scene. And again, we are pretty much just using vertical and horizontal box containers. So you can really see how powerful they are to create really good looking UI elements, and you can mix and match them to get to your desired look. So for instance, if I decide that I don't want to use an icon anymore, here I can just expand this horizontal box container. So as you can see, it holds the icon and the label. And if I remove the icon, again, everything gets rearranged accordingly because we are using containers. Now back to the GUI scene. The second part of the UI that we have here is the character selector. And this is just a vertical box container that has an horizontal box container that holds the two buttons that we need to select our character and has our character in the middle. And right below it, we have the select button, and everything is arranged correctly because of the vertical box container. If I play this scene, you notice that everything looks the way that it was here in the inspector. But if I decide that I don't want this to be the way it is right now, I want to change the way something looks, and I take this next button right here and I place it a little bit to the top, and I decide to play the game again, you can see that it goes back to the correct position. So again, the containers are going to take control of your control nodes, and you have to make them look the way you want them to look by using their functionality. You will not be able to change their position because they all get rearranged when the game is played. And another thing that you should keep in mind is the size flags of your controls. Here, you notice that this panel container is taking all the space that it can. And that is because that's how it was configured to behave. For instance, if I go to the panel container, open the size flags, and I remove the fill and I set it to expand, you notice that now it's only taking the space that it needs for the dummy text to appear. The same applies to the boxes demo that we had on the beginning of this lecture. They're all taking as much space as they can because the size flags are configured to do that. So that's why when I show this button, they get arranged correctly. If I were to, for instance, select all of them, and instead of using fill, I decide to use expand, you notice that they're only taking as much space as they need to. And again, the same applies for this horizontal box. So I'm going to remove the fill. And there you go. I really hope that this gave you a basic understanding of how containers work on Godot. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment them on the comment section below, and also every feedback is appreciated. You can find this project on the GitHub link that's going to be on the description of this video, as well as the SVGs that were used to create the UI for this tutorial. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.